Hello again. Dorn Markowitz here from D Guitars Miami with another edition of This Week in Cool Custom Guitar Modifications. This week's particular instrument is a 1994 40th anniversary Fender Strat that a client brought me because it had a few issues that she wanted addressed. Wiring issues and setup and so forth. And she said while I had it here, she'd like me to do a bit of a relicing job to it. You know, show some player wear in the typical areas that you'd find. And that's one of the main things I'm going to discuss about this today. When it comes to relicing a guitar, the best way really to do it is to let it happen naturally, of course, over years of abusing and playing the instrument. Some people want to kind of speed up the process. There's a good way or a right way to do relicing, and there's a bad way, which usually looks very forced and very faked. You can see the scratch marks and that sort of thing. The main thing to take into consideration when doing a relicing job is you want the main areas that are the most worn to be the areas that you most usually have hand contact on, arm contact, such as the arm relief, inside the cutaway, belt buckle rash on the back, that sort of thing. If you look close, you can see the way that I did this. It's very smooth. You don't see any sanding scratches or anything. Even inside the cutaway area where you could see that the hand rubbed on it for years and so forth. This guitar is 21 years old, so theoretically speaking, if somebody did play this every day for about 21 years, it could wear to about that kind of a condition. You can also see that the majority of this area, for instance, is fairly satiny now. It's fairly dull. It's not as shiny as the rest. But it's also incurred the requisite banging, you know, dings and scratches and so forth. It already had a few, and that's why she wanted me to take it that much further. So I applied a few more to various areas. The key to doing this sort of thing is not just sanding and scraping with a file bar or whatever, or scraping with a blade. It's a matter of wet sanding, steel wooling, wet sanding, and so forth, in order to be able to get it to buff down just right. Okay? Especially when dealing with a poly finish. Poly finishes are the hardest plastic finishes there are out there. They're the most durable, which is one of the reasons why they're the biggest pain to strip when you want to refinish a guitar. Alright, so I gave it the requisite aging that was needed. It's got enough of the scratches and fading and some discoloration and so forth. I think it came out fine. She was mainly concerned about doing that to the body, not so much to the neck. The neck has a very nice feel to it. One of the other things was that it already had the Fender locking tuners installed, so I advised upgrading from the Graphtec nut that was on here to the LSR roller nut. So I installed the LSR roller nut, and as you can see, it looks like a factory done finish. I mean, you can't even tell that it was modified, because she already had Graphtec saddles on the bridge. So if you're going to be using the bar, you want those 3 points covered: locking tuners, LSR, Graphtec saddles. Done. Then of course I had to set the bridge in order for it to have the right amount of float, so that way you have perfect tuning stability when banging on the bar, pulling up and down and so forth, getting flutters. Now the other issue that it had was that the wiring was all screwed up. Whoever owned it before had wired these GFS Lil Pups in such a way to where all three of them were on at all times, except when you pulled up on this tone pot to basically coil tap them, and then they were individual. So because he took the coil tap of each wire, soldered them all together to the one contact. I bypassed that and then kept them wired just as they are as humbuckers, and then added this as the neck add switch. So that way when you have the bridge pickup on, you can add the neck pickup to it. Alright, so let's hear how it sounds. We've got your volume, neck tone, and then bridge and middle tone, and then your 5-way switch with the output jack right there. Here's your bridge pickup. Here's your bridge and middle. Middle by itself. Neck and middle. by itself. It's set up with Black Diamond 9 to 42 strings, and I've got it set with only 2 springs in the back, angled and offset. In other words, there's more tension on the low E side than on the high E side. That way it gets just the right amount of balance, especially for flutter. Let's put the neck pickup on. And now all 3. Alright, so you heard how it sounds clean. Let's throw on some distortion. Let's see how it cooks. Neck and middle together. Bridge and middle. Now add the neck pickup together. Alright, now let's put it up a notch to some shred distortion. Neck add. Roll the tone all the way off on the neck pickup. All the way off on the bridge pickup. Nice sustain. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, and if you roll the tone off all the way on the bridge pickup, clean, it's very bassy. Very, very bassy. Same thing with the neck pickup. Got a .047 cap and both tone controls. So. Anyway, I think you get the idea. I think she's going to be very pleased with how this guitar came out. I know I am. The action is set at about 1/16 of an inch at the 12th fret. It's very fast, very smooth. This is actually very much a pleasure to play. I mean, it's very buttery, the action. The fretwork on it was excellent. And these GFS Hot Rails pickups are really good pickups. I mean, I say this a lot about GuitarFetish.com. They sell really good products. Their pickups are excellent quality, especially if you're stuck on a low budget. If you don't want to spend a lot, you know, 35 to 45 bucks a pickup, can't really beat it. And a lot of times you get sets for under $100, maybe a little over $100, depending upon what you're looking at. Anyway, enough out of me. Alright, you get the idea. Alright, so until next time, if you've got a guitar that you'd like to relic, or if it has some issues such as fretwork, electronics work, whatever, or if you'd like to have a custom guitar built, don't hesitate to give me a call at 305-896-1811. Until next time, Doran Markowitz from D Guitars Miami. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.